Welcome back, everybody. We're coming into the fourth and final portion here of Harvest Valley. Boy, we just did it. We just did an adventure.
We had the most successful adventure yet on the show.
That's actually true. That is actually true.
I'm not saying that it's thanks to me, but I am saying that there's only one new factor in this show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
That's a good point.
You put that together. I mean,
how much did you guys succeed by, actually?
Not very much.
You just tied, right?
Yeah, it was right on the money.
I didn't say it at the time. Technically speaking, that's not how ties work on a versus test, but I was not going to say anything.
Yeah,
now it's too late.
No,
We've
too late.
progressed scenes forward.
Someone uses a trait to break it or something, right?
Yeah, it's either a call on or the defender wins.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's arguable that there was no defender, and also it's been 2 scenes. We're not going to retcon those other scenes. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
It's true.
The GM gets to decide.
Yes. The new factor is Estani watching. She's good luck.
Also, you got an extra die from your clone helping. Don't forget that.
We did forget that, I think.
Maybe. Anyway.
Either way, we succeeded. It's great.
The point is,
winter's over.
Point is, we win.
Unless Luke Crane starts spinning in his grave, and therefore that makes the entire world cool down.
It's fine.
And the winter we're entering into now never ends.
No. It's fine. Luke Crane's not dead, so we don't have to worry about him spinning in his grave. So it's fine.
That's good. Nobody buy a Luke Crane a gravestone.
That would be
weird. We don't know what. That would be weird.
That would be weird.
And also, the future of the world could depend on it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it would be a summer that never ends because it's a burning wheel, not a freezing wheel. Golden.
It burns with cold fire.
Oh, of course it does. Cold fire.
Of course
I knew
it.
Cool. So I think that after all of that, Ned, our carpenter, was going to have some words with Esteban. I think that Ash and Ashlyn go to their respective houses.
So if I can take a little narrative control and just sort of forward us, I think it maybe is like a couple days later, like Ned just sort of shows up at Esteban's house, and like he knocks on the door and then just like walks inside.
I think the snow is starting to melt as well, so it's very muddy everywhere. So maybe you just track mud in on the floor.
Oh no, I definitely kick my boots off.
Okay, you have manners.
I'm polite. Yeah, I'm very polite. That's why I knocked.
Okay. You see the crystal slippers like sitting next to the door, I think.
You see the crystal slippers are right next to the king's shoes, which are over the fireplace.
Got a real thing for shoes. Anyway, I walk in and you say, what now? I missed it.
Come on in.
And then I like just start like I've got like that little like I'm imagining it as kind of like a round tipped hammer that he uses to like test things. It's almost like a doctor like testing your reflexes. And he's walking around this kind of like, I imagine this house is like fine, but it's not like in great shape because like Ishmael didn't spend a lot of money on it, and like he's a fisherman, he's not like a carpenter. And like you have to like keep up a house, you have to like do like little maintenance every year, you know what I mean?
I think it was fine until he left, and then it just hasn't been upkept well over the winter.
Yeah, so he's like walking around, he's like knocking on studs, and sort of like, he finds one of the places that's like a little bit weakened by the fire damage, and he kind of like pulls out like a marking pencil and like makes like a little marking on there, and he's just like kind of doing this all around. He's got like his belt around his waist and everything. Do you like interrupt him at all, or you just like let him do this?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, can I say I wanted you I was going to ask you to come by and do that. You're sort of a mind reader in that way. What are you going to want something in return for this? I can offer you space here to sleep if Ashlyn wants more room in her house. Because I know she's got a lovely lady now.
Well, I did not know that. Good on
Rachel, I think you heard her name in conversation before.
Yeah, I usually I don't pay that much attention when y'all talk, but it's okay. You see, you can't live in this house. I mean, there's structural damage. This support beam, it's charred on the inside. You can't really tell it's weakened. See, he like knocks on it and he's like, it sounds exactly like him knocking on like any other piece of wood. He's like, you hear that? That is not a good sound. See, and he like points out like,
well, can't we just take that out? I mean, it's kind of in the way anyway.
No, you can't.
Oh, you can't?
I tell you what, maybe you help me. I'll teach you a little something about not burning your house to the ground. And then I won't have to come do this again. And that's how you pay me. Because I can't.
You don't want to do it forever.
It's less that. It's more that it's a shame to. This is good wood.
And I'm just like, it's burnt like you just said it is.
I'm just going to fix it and just try to listen when I say things and just trust me, I know what I'm talking about. And so then like for like the rest of the day, he's a horrible teacher. Like, because he doesn't really like talking very much and he's not good at like he's a smart dude. He is like really pretty damn good at what he does. But he's spent most of his life like working and out in the woods. So he's just not very good with people. So I don't know how much Esteban actually is able to learn from this. But he wants to like involve you, and the reason why is because like this is something that he really loves and like really genuinely enjoys, and he like wants to bring you in on it. So like he's definitely good-hearted, but he's like not a good teacher, if that makes sense.
And I think that sort of like combination of like care behind sternness just kind of like stresses him out, and he's just like, he just kind of has like a day at the end of the day, and then he just like kind of cries a lot.
Wait, you don't still have your instinct to smoke opium constantly, do you?
No, because I'm sad. I'm sad, not angry.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, that actually fits really well. Is because like Esteban totally isn't, but I could totally see that like Esteban's reaction to the way that Ned reacts would be like him thinking that Ned is disappointed in him. Whereas like that's totally not what it is. It's just that Ned is not good at like sharing his passion with people. But I think that like would make like a lot of sense, like with like the way that their two personalities interact, is that it's just like his like inability to communicate is like making it seem like he's pissed off at you that you're not like getting it, when that's totally not what it is. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think I can read your intent not to hurt my feelings. but you're just like very persistent in your sternness. And that just like makes me frustrated with myself.
Sure. Yeah. That makes perfect sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. This probably takes a while. I mean, Ned takes his time with this. He's probably here, like he just keeps showing up at your door in the morning. Probably he just kind of assumes that he's gonna show up. He probably like doesn't really say when or if he's gonna show up the next day. Maybe some days he's just like not there all day, and then the next day he's just like shows up at a random time.
Yeah. So the day after that you show up, I'm like, I slept on this, just like it's fine that you showed up, and I'm like, I'm going to need to build actual stables at some point because my horses have been loose for, gosh, a long time. A year and a half. They need some shelter.
Yes, you're gonna need a stable if you have horses. Now you got goats too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a pen?
Yes. I've just been keeping the horses in the pen up until now. I've kept the horses tied up a bit more, but they're not happy, and I'm not happy that they're happy.
We'll build you a stable. We'll build you a stable. So we're gonna get this taken care of. It's gonna take a couple days. More than a couple days. It's gonna take many days. It's going to take a lot of days, but we're going to get this place up in shape. Get rid of this burnt out wood. It's got good bones. It's a piece of shit. I'm not going to lie to you. But we're going to get.
You keep saying this. You keep saying things that are the opposite of one another. I don't want to.
So I think I can explain this as GM is that he has the carpentry skill. He doesn't have the architect skill. So would you like to take some training towards architecture?
Well, I'm not trying to build a whole new. Let me see what exactly
architecture is. Yeah.
Just use mending on the house.
Design buildings.
Well, I'm not designing a new building, right? Like I'm essentially I'm redoing I'm extreme home makeovering this house right now.
I also have a second side question.
Like building a wall or building a floor or a staircase.
I have a side question.
Yeah.
Which is, during those days that you did not come out here to help Esteban, were you over helping Ash at the Faust Mansion?
Yes. That's a good question. I hadn't thought of that. But yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Sure. Why
the
not?
other thing is that now that spring is coming, Sebastian and Carmichael is starting to tear down Esteban's family home. And there's a lot of raw materials from that you could use to build something.
Yes, this is a great way to get into your parents' good graces, Esteban. Go steal pieces that used to be their house.
Mm-hmm. So it seems like
yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
So it seems like architecture is pretty overlapping with carpentry.
Yeah. Architecture is for design.
Right, but we're not doing the design. We're just like...
It's for actual building. But
we might be doing the design of the stables.
If you're doing decorating and you want to like change rooms, that's design, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
like if you're putting on an addition.
If you want to change the floor layout, and all
I mean,
that.
it's so the description of carpentry is a carpenter can select suitable trees, cut the lumber, and use it to build structures,
Right.
implements, and furniture. I mean, I would assume that this would be building a structure.
Sure, but look at the obs then.
I mean, wall, table, chairs, cabinets, slatted floor, wooded staircase.
So you could do it part by part. With carpentry, right? But like building a whole house all at once would probably be like ob 6.
But I'm not building the house, right? Like I'm just like I'm like replacing a support beam and like pop, resanding the floor, and that's kind of why I think carpentry might fit. But if you don't think it does,
I think it does. But I think then we gotta split up into parts, right? Like,
sure,
you're like going in and you're like, oh, this wall has to be replaced, and then we'll roll for wall. Or you're like, this floor needs to be sanded. Then it'll be roll for floor.
Sure. Yeah, that seems reasonable to me.
Okay. So why don't we do a couple walls and a floor?
Cool.
Or you can do a staircase if you really want to tackle that.
No, I don't think I do.
First you do the walls on the floor, and then you level up your carpentry, and then you tackle the staircase.
Right.
Yeah. So
we're going to take 2 walls and a floor. If you fail those, you'll have to find a different way to fix them. If you succeed, you're going to improve the
quality of his living space.
If you fail, Esteban will have to live somewhere else while you work on it.
Okay. We're all checking up with Ashlyn.
You'll still complete it. Each of these rolls will take a week of time.
Okay, cool.
So we probably only have time in this session for one of those rolls. So let's start with which one do you want to start with, the wall or the floor?
What?
Why is the floor harder than the wall?
Because you have to make it, I don't know.
Evener?
Does the word slatted mean something? No, that should be easy.
No,
slatted is like
they fit into each
getting
other.
Oh, you know why? I actually know why. Because making a slatted floor requires you to like fit the pieces of wood together in such a way that water doesn't leak in through the ground. So like when it rains, it doesn't like make it so that when it basically makes it so that you don't have the problem that like a dirt floor has, where when it rains, your entire floor becomes just mud, right?
So slatted floor is like medieval style floor, where the floor is right literally on the ground, and therefore rot away really quickly, and gotta do it every year. That's probably what this is, right? Like this is not modern day house building. This is medieval house building where you gotta rebuild parts of the house every year.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm imagining too.
So you got to redo the floor for sure. It's all moldy. Would you like to start with that or start with a wall?
Yeah, let's start with the floor. I think that's important. I think we start with the floor.
So why don't you make that? It's an OBS 4 test. I'll give you a +1 dice if you cannibalize parts of Esteban's old house.
Definitely gonna do that. I would also like to take my time, if possible. I do have an instinct about it.
Okay.
So I mean, it's going to take longer than a week.
It'll take like 2 weeks.
Okay, that's fine with me. I'm not. That's my instinct, right? Is I'd rather do it once the right way than do it, and have it take longer than need to do it twice.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So forks here. Mending.
Sure.
I believe that I have to cut lumber as well. So I'd say tree cutting.
Yeah.
And then tree wise as well to make sure I'm picking the right wood.
Okay.
All right. So 5 forks. I'm really good at carpentry. I planned this character to be really good at this. So
I know
if you want to help me, you are. I mean, I think based on the scene we played out, it would make sense to help if you have something that is applicable.
Mm-hmm. So if you want a more direct method, one skill I have is mending, but I feel like that's like a little out of sorts, but it might have some uses. What I was thinking of is helping with sing.
I mean, if Golden will accept it, and I think it makes sense that it would help Ned.
Yeah, I think it will help.
Because if you go to a work site, like, what do you hear in the background? Like the radio, right?
But you have to accept the help. Like, you have to accept that singing will help you.
Which is
like
interesting.
Singing would be distracting, and that says something about your character. But if you think it would help you, then in the future, Adam could make intents about singing that I would approve.
You know what? I think it does help, and I think here's what it is I think like because Ned has spent so much time alone, he is used to kind of like singing and humming and whistling kind of like on his own. And so like we get this scene, like this like montage of them like working together, and you're probably like theoretically helping with mending as well, but since you can only like help with one skill at a time, etc. And like we get like Esteban's like sweet, like what kind of, are you like higher voice, lower voice, like are you like a tenor, a bass?
I think he's like a tenor, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we have like your like high clear tenor, and then we have like Ned's like sort of warbly out of tune baritone, kind of like interchanging, and he's like kind of like wanders a little bit with the song, but like because you're like singing with him, he's like, you know, it's kind of like you're watching like a person walk along a path, and then another person like sort of weave and stumble along the same path, but is like able to find their way because they're following the other person. Yeah.
And you do it in the way that's like building the house, and I do it in the way that's like singing on key.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that a lot. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, me too.
Also, I made an Ash. She's the mirror of Ashlyn. So, yeah.
That's great. That's amazing.
Glad you did, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And like, I don't think that I have like Ned necessarily has like a bad voice. It's just like he's very clearly like not trained and doesn't really know what he's doing. But
another thing is, I think you're maybe, so you're like a baritone, but the way you talk naturally, you're actually not talking in your own vocal range. You're talking so low that you're actually talking like in like bass range, because you're just like doing the low kind of grindy thing, and you can't hold a pitch because that's not your vocal range.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's just not a singer. Like he sings because he's out in the woods alone, and like the only reason he's able to like really keep the tone or keep any of it is because he's got you there to like guide him along. Yeah, cool. That's awesome. I like that. All right, let's roll it up.
Nice.
Boom.
Nice.
Oh man.
Nice.
So just so you know, if you had failed, I was going to say that you kept the floor from Esteban's old house, but you kept the burn marks too from the all spilled to burn it down.
Oh, that would have made Ned so unhappy too. Like that seems like a really like low stakes consequence, but for this character, that is like.
You succeed. That doesn't happen. Like you cut out those parts of the boards and replace them with like fresh wood.
Very nice.
And he always takes his time, so it's going to be another week or so just to replace. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So like, I think that's like I've got a very distinct image of like what this looks like with these two people kind of like working and helping each other and singing along together. I really like that.
That's great.
That's great. Well, awesome.
I think that's all the time we have for tonight, unfortunately. So let's do bits really quick.
More like all the time we need.
That's pretty good timing. All right.
Winter's
over. That's good.
I guess I'll start.
Okay.
So winter has brought a new person to this town with a new year. I need to make friends with at least one of them, meaning Ned. Hey, Ned, do you think we're friends?
I want you to. I think you made a distinct effort.
Yeah, for sure.
So here's the question: is whether this is about you seeing Ned as a friend or him seeing you as a friend.
I mean, I think it's about him seeing me as a friend because I don't think Ashlyn counts it as a true friendship if it's not mutual.
I think there's a little bit more of a work to be done there, if I'm honest.
No, that's fair.
I mean, he's kind of a reserved fellow, and he's kind of a little bit of a tough nut to crack because of his sort of history and his kind of, he's been alone for so long. He has trouble.
Yeah, totally. Like I said, that's totally fine.
Cool.
Trying for it, but, that's still fate, so.
I think you've made good legwork. I think it would have been a little easier if the way you had tried to make friends with him was not to pull him in on this ridiculous, harrowing adventure.
I mean,
but it had
she's not. Sometimes she's not super great at anything.
I think you made friends with Ash though.
Yay!
If you make friends with yourself, I think that's allowed.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that I'm friends with myself because I think Ash wants to be my friend too. So
yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna cry. Ash is gonna become Ned's friend before he's Ashlyn's friend.
That's entirely possible.
As I said to Estani when she was posting this in chat, it can't be Ned and Ash together because Ash doesn't have blue hair. And in these games, I always marry the blue hair person.
I mean, she doesn't have blue hair yet. She's going to go live in a cursed mansion for a little while, so we'll see what happens.
Fair.
Let me finish going over my bits. The night wolf calls to me still. I will not give him what he wants, but I'll take what I can. I did. I took my glowing eyes and seen the dark power without giving him anything. I think that's Persona.
That's Persona.
And I must confront the winter goddess on behalf of the harvest goddess. This cold cannot stand.
Yeah, you did it. I didn't really expect you guys to either.
I mean, I was worried for a moment that we weren't going to.
So I rolled pretty bad.
We had a lot of dice going.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Instincts. Always pick wildflowers or berries. I mean,
no. That helped you, right?
It did. It helped me. And I don't think it really took anything in it.
For the snowberries, then yes, but you didn't do it.
Oh, I didn't understand that. That's what those were.
Yeah, they were glowing. They were snowberries that glue, and they would only show up at night. They were to tempt you outside into the snow, so you would confront the winter goddess on unfavorable terms.
Gotcha.
I totally forgot that was even a thing that happened.
Yeah, no, totally, just whoosh, right over my head.
I guess I should have been more clear about that. Sorry.
That's all right.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Let's see. I would like to say that always extend a hand of friendship to a new acquaintance. Where I just totally accepted my doppelganger and was like, "Let's go, we're partners now." Took the story in an interesting direction.
Yeah, totally.
Sweet. Traits. I don't really think any of my traits really got me into trouble. Even embracing my curse of the night and having glowing eyes for a while, I don't feel like it really got me into any trouble at all. So
they had 8 all the darkness.
Yeah,
I remember I'm basing the false mansion off of the darkest dungeon house.
Yeah.
Do you really want something to eat that kind of darkness?
No, I don't. I knew I didn't want to have that. Yeah,
but it almost happens.
Opportunistic, tenacious, faithful, familiar face. No, none of those really Now familiar faces like doubly so. Ash, I definitely think has that trait too.
Yeah.
In fact, would it be appropriate with not that I want this to happen, but I have a what do you call it? A reputation for being the new person in town.
Mm-hmm.
Would I lose that now that both Ned and Ash are in town, especially with me and Ash looking identical?
Probably, but I think we'll replace it with something else.
Okay.
Ned's not new, also. Right?
Well, I mean, you're not new, but you also haven't been there for a long time, so the novelty of you being not someone that they're expecting, you know.
It's not a reputation. What's the other one where you belong to an organization?
An affiliation?
Affiliation.
I think you have an affiliation with the town.
Okay.
Because the town is pretty close-knit. I think
cool.
representing that as an affiliation makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so I already have a... I'm sorry, go ahead.
It definitely is almost cultish.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're buying into the town. And I just waived resources test because you've been in town enough.
And I already have, like, that's kind of feeds into my reputation, right? Is like, the town is so close-knit that, like, the fact that I left is, like, really bizarre, which is why I have the reputation as a runaway.
Yeah. Okay, so that is a total of 2 persona and 2 fate.
Yeah.
For me.
It says lost affiliation dice can be regained if the character makes good on his failures or rejoins his former crew. This must be accompanied by a successful duel of wits or successful series of social skill tests. But you could become accepted by the town again, but you're definitely not.
Cool. All right, well, those were my bits. So next,
cool.
In line. Oh, I guess I should have. Anyway, whatever. Sam, why don't you go next?
All right. So I've got Bish took me in while I was alone. I owe it to him to help him now. I'll help Ashlyn get the farm back into shape. I think I helped Ashlyn sort of inadvertently with getting rid of Winter. Like, that's definitely going to help her efforts with the farm. I don't think I've accomplished that necessarily.
No, I think you get Artha, though. I think you get
Fate.
You get Fate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, because that was a big part of why I went on this adventure. Is like I definitely feel like I need to help Ashlyn because of Bish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just don't think it directly helps the farm. I understand what you're saying. But I assumed this was like helping remodel the farm in some way. Directly?
Yeah, I mean, so I think it's more about like the first part of the belief as opposed to the second, more actionable part of the belief.
Yeah.
Which is why I would say like this is definitely going to be a belief that would carry forward.
Mm-hmm.
But it's your call. If you don't think it's fate,
no, I think it's definitely
fair.
fate. I just don't think it's
okay. I agree that we're on the same page.
Okay.
So second belief is poor young Esteban's house is in no shape to be lived in. I wasn't sure it gets fixed up. I think we're well on our way, but we talked about needing a couple more tests there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Fate. Yeah, you can fate that.
Now this one is interesting. The first step to brewing the perfect mead is to find the right honey. Mm-hmm. So I didn't find honey, but I definitely like made a series of tests that were like very much tied up in the idea of me improving my brewing.
Yeah. You have different alcohols, I guess. Maybe you want to take Mode Breaker and decide that you can't make mead with honey after all. You have to make mead with other stuff.
That's what I was almost thinking is like maybe like Mold Breaker in that it's like, oh, honey is not the way here. Like I found something like special and magical. Like this is what's going to put me on the map for my brewing.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But now you have to get. You don't have a source of this anymore, unless you make deals with the Winter Goddess, which is
it's a problem.
Man, that sounds like an adventure.
Sounds like some drama. Always take my time only helped me, I think.
Plus, you stole it from her. She's not going to be the happiest.
Yeah, and it's not like you can say that you didn't. I mean, you were sitting there drinking it and coughing up flowers right in front of her. So.
Yeah, I don't think that always take your time helped you. I mean, hurt you.
It helped me. It just didn't get me in trouble. I think same thing with the second instinct.
Yeah. You can get angry at all.
I laughed.
Yeah.
He's not an angry fellow. He's a little grumpy. He's not great with people, but he tries very difficult to not get angry. There you go.
I think you did making time to practice your brewing did make the game more interesting, so I'll take fate for that.
Cool. And then we did have a Louis Woo moment.
You did.
I don't know if that really, I think if anything, it maybe got me in a little trouble with Ashlyn. So I think that's your call.
I mean, yeah, because you were, I think so. I think she's like, this is not appropriate. I'm maybe having second thoughts about bringing you in on this mission.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay.
And that definitely just freaked Esteban out a little bit more.
It's a great trait. Like, I love that trait so much.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I
won't lie. I've thought about taking it multiple times and never actually have, so I'm really enjoying seeing it in play.
My favorite part about the trait is that at the end of the description, it says, if this doesn't infuriate both friends and foe alike, something is wrong. It's that's like somebody like just laughing in like desperate situations is so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right.
I was just on the fence of that at the time because while that might have been going through the player's head, I couldn't see it. But yeah, if you guys say it was, then
oh no, I definitely saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was maybe I wasn't emoting that as well, but I was definitely having second thoughts of being like, okay, you can stay out here with Esteban. I'm gonna go inside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I said like I put my hand on his back as he's like doing the weird laughing thing because I'm just like, oh my god.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Like I said, I just could not read that. Maybe that was my thing.
So I think it's fair for you to deny me. All right, I'll take it.
No, take
it. I'm not gonna.
No, take it.
Say twice.
Just take it.
I'll take it.
Like,
so that's forfeit.
I was about my GMing, but like it's half. Like half I'm going with the flow, and half I'm just going to say things, and that's how it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to worry too much about arguing the rules.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you can take that. If I think it's reasonable, it's fine. But I have to honestly think it's reasonable.
Yeah, so that's Ned for you.
Good job,
cool.
Ned.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, so Esteban. So you talked a little about making your beliefs representative of what happened in the last session, right?
Mm-hmm. I just put stuff in them that happened last session, like my parents almost lighting Ashlyn's house on fire because they were fighting. So the way that reads is, my parents are careless for setting a fire at Ashlyn's party. It's become clear. As many memories as I have in that old house, they are bad ones. Let Bastion, this hotel mogul, do what he wants with that little vineyard. I'm no one's disappointment of a son anymore.
I mean, I think accepting the parts of your old house. I don't know.
Yeah, do you feel like your house is now gone?
Oh, but we
like by the start of next session, it's going to be completely torn down.
Okay, I don't want that to be a thing. I want to stand in the way of my old home.
Okay, so why don't you take Arthur for this time, and then next session we'll start with that. Like this session has been gutted. Like I think it's progressed too far to stop your house from being gutted. but you can still stop it from being completely torn down.
Sure.
But you'll have to like act on it like first thing next session.
I think I shouldn't take Artha for it this time because I didn't really do anything with it.
I think
it didn't impact the story at all.
I think it does because like there are already consequences for you're letting it happen as far as it has already in this session. So take fate.
Oh, okay. Did we talk about because
part of the supplies that
Ned
was using
salvaged. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And I think I said at the beginning of the session even that Bastion's plan was to tear down the family home now.
And he mentioned as soon as the snow melted that Bastion got started on.
Yeah. And you let it happen.
Sure thing.
So like I said, it's a very passive belief. Like you're not like you gotta take action on it.
I was more so like waiting for an opportunity to have like my time to say something about me getting in the way of that. But
yeah, just be more proactive about that.
Okay.
Like this time, like we're going to like I'm going to back off my plans a little bit because it's become obvious to me that you want that opportunity, and I guess you didn't feel like you had it, but you know, but try and be more proactive beliefs. Like make a belief next time about like change this belief so it says you're going to stop them from tearing down the house. And then when I'm framing scenes, I'll be sure to give you a chance to hit that.
Yeah, that seems fair.
That's what I'm using this for.
I'm secretly trying to use this belief to try to get deeds because I'm trying to go against my own character.
Okay.
To get in the way of this hotel mogul who is a big part of our overarching narrative.
So you gotta sacrifice, right? So you could like make a belief next time, like to help him gut the house, and then you stop him through the course of the session. And if you sacrifice enough, and it has a big enough impact on the city, on the town, on the valley, then you get a deeds. But you got to take, active action to get the deeds.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to like, don't be afraid to like bump in and tell me what you want the scene to be framed. Like if you want to frame a scene,
okay,
just be like, hey, I want to frame a scene. Then I'll let you frame a scene. Otherwise, I'm going to use the beliefs as my tools for framing scenes.
Okay, sure. In any case, I'm just going to like not take fate for that.
Okay, I still think you should take fate, but that's fine if you don't want it.
I'm not going to take it for that one.
Okay.
Sure.
Next one.
Uncle Bish is the beloved fading patriarch of this family, but I have to care for my flock, my stable, and my lighthouse. My own house must come before his care, unfortunately. I do think with Ned showing up at my house and us starting to work on my house, I get at least fate for that.
Sure, you can get fate for that.
I think I don't think that one's concrete either this time.
Yeah, I don't think it's Persona because
it's not. We haven't hit the end of it.
Yeah. This is not done yet.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like if you actively prevent Ned from working on Bish's house, then sure. Or like actively prevent Ned or Ashlyn from actively helping, or I guess Ash too, because Uncle Bish is still her uncle too. I gotta think about that. I think I gotta think about what she's gonna do. I really did not expect that to happen. That was okay.
And my last belief is Ned has missed all the recent drama in my life. Let's welcome him home.
I think you get Persona for that.
I think so too.
Cool.
When I get mad, smoke opium I steered away from. when I make eye contact with a stranger, tell a weird story. I did a lot of that.
Yeah,
Probably more than ever combined.
That's true, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think you
You started
really
telling
getting,
weird stories constantly.
You were really getting on the weird story ramble. I was appreciating it.
Uh-huh. I'm glad. Which maybe ties into odd.
We'll talk about that when we get to those. Let's finish the last instinct.
Well, the last instinct is like never be the first to give up on a relationship.
Yeah,
I guess that didn't really happen. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's why I skipped
it. Did odd change? Yeah, definitely odd.
Mm-hmm.
You did cry some. I thought that was interesting that you were crying instead of getting angry. So you can take a fate for that.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have a bad influence on anybody.
Nope.
Just
no
kind of
curly
surprising.
Hair, no moldy, no affinity for sheep or goats.
I mean, if anybody had a bad influence on anybody, it was Ashlyn.
How so?
Just dragging everybody into
an adventure.
Whatever adventure, yeah.
You think Esteban was the one doing the dragging?
No. We were saying if anybody had been a bad influence.
Okay.
It was Ashlyn.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And what a good bad influence.
Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Interesting. So the False Mansion is back. I guess it's time for you guys to explore the Marble Dune next. That's where the next dungeon is.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun.
I mean, we could also just
not
farm for a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you guys can farm.
Yeah. Now that it's not perpetual winter, we can farm things.
Yeah, exactly.
We could actually farm things. Maybe I'm the only one that farms in the winter.
I mean, there's only so much you can farm in the winter, though.
No, I plant the wild seeds in my farm.
I know, but that's like all you can do is the wild seeds. But that's true. Anyway.
I have so many wild fruits when I play Stardew Valley. It's crazy. I have like a whole quarter of my farm devoted to just growing wild seeds.
Well, I guess that's a good segue into outros. Golden, why don't you tell the internet where they can find you and things that you do.
Hey, internet, you can find me at twitch.tv/goldenwh or on Twitter at Haunted Sky. I stream games on my channel pretty much just Sunday nights now. I'm on other people's channels on Friday nights and Tuesday nights. On Tuesday nights, we're playing old school D&D. We're using 5th edition rules, but we're playing in a campaign world from 1st edition. And we're currently in an alternate dimension where all our characters' wishes has been granted. But it's kind of a dark dimension because our characters are all secretly assholes. So we're trying to find a way back because apparently my character is a genocidal maniac in this universe, so that's not good. Yeah, so we gotta find a way back to a normal universe. Friday night's game is dun dun dun.
It's this one. If you're watching this on YouTube and you didn't know that.
It's not on my channel as well, so you can find me here sometimes. You can find me lurking in the Stenny's channel sometimes, but I'm not streaming there. Stenny,
what is this outro?
Maybe a Stenny will play some role-playing games with us soon. And Sunday nights we're going to be doing one-shots. We have actually Burning Wheel coming up this week. We're going to take a return to Burning Wheel for a one-shot, and that'll be a lot of fun.
Cool.
And yeah, my outros are crazy.
All right. Well, Sam, why don't you show them how outros should go and do your own outro?
Speaking of segues, Kelsa, I'm Sam, aka Wizened Fool, at the Wizened Fool on Twitter, just plain Wizened Fool on Twitch. because someone is still squatting on that Twitter name. And I am on various things and such. This is my only weekly regular scheduled show. So go ahead and hit that follow button on Twitter because I always tweet out when I show up on other people's stuff. I'm regularly on Eric Vulgaris' show because he's nice enough to keep inviting me on for some very strange reason. And yeah, I mostly play role-playing games, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of game design stuff over the next couple weeks on my channel because I am working on a Burning Wheel hack for the Stormlight Archive books by Brandon Sanderson, which he's got a new one coming out next week as well. So it's very timely that I'm doing this. So if you're interested in that at all, go ahead and hit that follow button. And yeah.
I'm interested in that new Stormlight Archive novel, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's mine. I did that. I did not do that. I did not do that. I'm not Brandon Sanderson.
No.
I'm sorry.
I've met Brandon Sanderson.
To disappoint.
I won't compare the two of you.
He's less fun. Let's be honest. Better writer, less fun guy.
We played Magic the Gathering together. It was actually pretty funny.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
That was actually a pretty cool time. Anyway, that was me. But actually, let's go instead to Adam. There you go.
Hi, I'm Adam, Dark Lavender Void. I'm making a game called Mortally Bankrupt, and I am a robot. This is how most pop songs are sung, as I have learned, because I'm also learning music? That's weird. I didn't know music before, other than, like, playing the trumpet in high school, and now I know, like, actually kind of a lot of things about music.
Notes.
That's weird.
Time signatures.
Mm-hmm.
Sight reading. Music.
Mm-hmm.
Not
really, though. It's kind of the worst.
Harmony, melody,
better.
Scales,
better. Modes.
Oh, that's where you're getting real fancy.
Serialism?
Real fancy.
Schoenberg? Atonal harmonies?
I think we have gotten pretty far off topic.
If we want to start getting into modal distribution, we can have this conversation on another channel. I'd be happy to talk to you
Thinking about channels,
all sorts of different modes.
Where can they find you on the internets? Dark Lavender Void, in places maybe.
At Dark Lavender Void at Twitch, Patreon, and Twitter. But on Twitter. As you can see down there, the second E is cut off because there's a letter limit.
Yep. Stupid letter limit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm Kelsa. This is my channel. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube /Kelsa Delphi. On Twitter, it's just @Kelsa. Pretty easy. Then you can tell by random hands coming on the screen that it's time for the show to be over. So I'm gonna switch us back to the music. So good night, everybody.